boys. Another day, another dollar. Let's get into it. The really big risk off coming through at the start of Asia. This is on the back of new reports that Deutsche Bank hedge funds were pulling collateral. Now that's ultra negative in itself. Now we're playing the game of what the central bankers and what the politicians are going to say to try and stem this. In my experience, usually it takes a few days for a political response to be said. So it's ambitious for you to think that's going to happen today. And in theory, I mean, in practice, you should be looking to sell these rallies, these risk rallies. So while the Deutsche Bank remains unresolved, I believe selling the DAX is the main way to play this. So just to illustrate that, I'm going to go ahead and play that now. It's we covered about 100 points off the lows already today, so it's no longer, it's relatively cheap. Nothing really substantial has come out. There's been a little bit of intervention from S&B earlier, so that came through on the Swiss crosses. Unfortunately, I was playing Euro pound short, not pound Swiss long. So the main way you know if it's going to be intervention is you look at the Euro Swiss, because majority of the intervention comes through on that particular pair. And they're just probably trying to short circuit this sell-off, because it had been making such nice ground above that 109 level, and that's pulled back below. Well, slumping towards the bottom end of that range. They probably just didn't want that range to break, so hopping in, giving the market a little scare, and that's allowed, you know, to stem some of the downside risk. I mean, I'm not selling into that now, right? If I'm a seller, so you just sit on the sidelines, maybe play another pair. But it came through on the Swiss as well. Gonna have to go in more tighter than a weekly. And so yeah, I mean, they've not confirmed it, but it's pretty much that's how they roll. So apart from that though, we've just been seeing risk off. So the euro dollar, because it's a euro story, has been hurt. Surprisingly, the Aussie's still above 76 now. In similar sort of stories, Aussie has got wrecked in the past. And more surprising than the Aussies remaining high is that the Kiwi has remained high. In fact, the Kiwi's attempting to rally on a day like today. That's extremely bullish. And this is the pair which has been extremely bearish given the last week or so. So this is, I mean, if you're a bull, you're like, oh my god, how did this happen? You know, the market was selling for no reason. Now it's buying when there's heaps of reasons to sell risk. Yeah, Potter, no, I was late, mate. I was taking the missus out. It wasn't going for 20 minutes. I might leave the music playing for 10 minutes one day. But yeah, so this is extremely bullish price action here. Like, I mean, it's like, what is going on with this pair? So that's leading across to the pair that we all trade, which is the Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Kiwi's having a downside day. Pretty aggressive one too. It's really taking advantage of that. Now, I had limit orders to buy towards 105. I had a place to stop. I'm going to have to put a stop in on this pair. 104.30. If it wants to get ridiculous, it can get ridiculous, right? You don't really want to stand in the way of this particular pair. Long-term downtrend still holding, right? So this whole recovery trade in this pair is under threat. It's cutting in and out, boys, or is it okay? My stream health says it's 100% perfect. So, I mean, you can lower the HD quality. I haven't put the webcam on, so the HD quality shouldn't even be that necessary. There's a little bit of delay though. It's fine. So yeah, Aussie Kiwi obviously is getting punched while the Kiwi's rallying. I suspect the Kiwi can't continue to rally, but I'm definitely going to put a little bit of stop in here because we were looking really good here on the Kiwi earlier, but now it's definitely starting to get some surprising strength, and that's what it does, right? That's the status of Kiwi traders. It does your head in a little bit. I was gearing up for the eventual break of the 72.30 level and the open air to the downside. I thought this was the actual time we're going to break that, but looks like we've gone back into range, so no need to be pushing the market when it's not responding. So over the weekend, we're definitely going to get reactions and more commentary about Deutsche Bank. During the US session, I suspect we're going to get another leg lower in risk. You don't really want to be long risk on a day like today. So buying dips is fine, but then the next session comes along and does the next leg lower. That's usual. If we get a sustained rally, it's going to require some sort of commentary from Berlin that suggests that what Merkel said a week ago about them not needing to bail out Deutsche Bank is not exactly the case. Something that gives traders something to work with, right? You got to give them. If you want the market to rally, you got to say something that will help. Okay. Alright, let's have a look at a couple of the trade ideas inside the trade room. Pound. Firstly, pound. Had so much potential. Had some nice data out of the UK. It looks like it's just being dragged down by the euro, so you can't really fight that. It wasn't really likely to get back above 130. But then again, dollar yen is surprisingly strong. So in that same scenario, there was actually some news out of Japan today that would have helped the dollar yen rally in general without that risk off attitude. So perhaps this is not going to be as negatively effective as it usually would. But it's not the sort of pair I want to buy on a day like today, especially if I suspect that Dow Jones is going to be weak. And this is. When we're buying dollar yen, we can look to buy the euro, the pound, and we can look to buy the pound yen. But as you can see, the pound yen's just getting wrecked with the pound in general. So I definitely can't be buying the pound on a day like today. But next week's got all that PMI data, right? So PMI data is what we are waiting for. And it's going to impact the whole pound recovery trade. Alright, so let's have a look at a couple of these. Just trash. You guys talking rubbish. Hey. Yeah, it looks like the euro is going to collapse. It's great for Viper. Viper wants Deutsche Bank bankrupt. Here's a trade that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not buying anything against the CAD, right? Especially not another commodity currency in the current time being. Yeah, Dave, look, a lot of people are buying this, okay? Now, this is great while the Aussie Kiwi is rallying. When the Aussie Kiwi is falling, you don't want to be in a pound Kiwi trade. So, perhaps when you're trading the Kiwi, you first look at any Kiwi cross, you first look at the New Zealand dollar. If it's doing something crazy, right, like it is, then you go across to the Aussie Kiwi to see if it's something which is straight Kiwi strength, and it is. And then whatever cross that you're looking to play, whether it's Euro Yen, Euro Kiwi, or Pound Kiwi, or Kiwi Yen, you just don't go looking to sell the yen on that scenario, right? That's just not great. I mean, selling Kiwi yen is okay, I suppose, but buying pound yen, it's just asking for disaster on a day like today, and the charts are probably going to show that when we get it up in a sec. It's not on my normal rotation. Okay, so we've got some more risk coming through than you'd want on your trade. So yeah, it's got a potential, this trade, but you need the Kiwi dollar to be falling. And it almost broke that level, right? Almost broke that. But it's not too bad. And same shit with Euro Kiwi. You're just asking for trouble on a day like today. Even worse, you're asking for more trouble on a day like today. I mean, it takes that you have to understand what the issues are. It's not a day to be trading technically. Pound long. Why? Let's see the reasoning. No reasons. It's okay, the chart's going to have to show us. Okay, what have we got? What have we got? You know that guy, that YouTube star, that Aussie YouTube star, that I'd love for him to come and look at the charts and do commentary on what's going on there. Lines, fucking lines everywhere. He's obviously thinks the blue sea is going to help him go up to the red ocean. You know what I mean? Like, it's... How do you look at this and get sense out of it? I don't know. This is some mad stuff. Who is this poster? Ahmed FXR. Alright, I mean, better than using text to buy bottoms, let's look for a fundamental reason to buy a bottom. Yeah, I mean, or extreme momentum indicator, right? Just give me an RSI at 90 or something, or 10 in this case, but don't just give me triangles. Yeah, well, the short euro has more chance, and it did work out, so yeah, short euro is good. Use a bit of Ichimoku cloud, huh? Why not? Why not? Chuck an Ichimoku cloud on a euro chart. Okay, so let's see what the banks have to make of Deutsche Bank. Obviously, everyone's going to be speaking about that. It's quite hilarious, actually, when banks are doing. So, I mean, there must be a bro code where they don't talk too aggressively against other banks. I don't know it, Potter. Find me the link, mate. I'll play it on the stream. So yeah, a few traders have pointed this out to me today, that it's a bank holiday on Germany on Monday. Now imagine if we get reports over the weekend that where they've had record online withdrawals, customer withdrawals. Because, I mean, sure as shit, if I had $100,000 in a Deutsche Bank account, I'd be transferring that out tonight. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not Lehman Brothersing my stuff. I'm not getting a federal insurance program to pay me back in 6 months my $100,000, right? I want my $100,000 in another bank account in Australia in 2 days' time. Okay, now, that's me as someone who shouldn't be as afraid as a normal person, right? Because I can understand the calming words that the chairman said, and I can read the reports. But I don't care. I mean, the 1% chance to lose 100,000 for no reason is enough for me to get involved. Okay, so I'm just going to move my money out. So imagine what the normal person in the street's doing. I know that the Germans are more stoic than most, but surely there has to be some negative news come out over the weekend. All right, just regarding the amount of withdrawals. Now, there might be positive news that counter that from the ECB or Merkel. She might backtrack, but surely, biggest bank in the world, I don't care. You know, it's just, if I hear that my stock of my bank has gone to record lows, like the Deutsche Bank has, and that hedge funds are pulling out collateral, I'm pulling my money out, right? I mean, it's natural. You know, there'll be queues at banks. I'm 100% sure there's going to be. So Bank Monday holiday, Tuesday frenzy. Yeah, so JP Morgan's suggesting 100 is going to break. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if it went ahead and did it quickly. But yeah, Potter's got something for us here, boys.
How I determine these levels that I used to trade. I got a few questions about people asking me how I determine the levels, and I can't answer it in a post, so I'm just make this video here. And if this doesn't help you, then I don't know what to tell you. Go somewhere else. But anyway, here are how I determine these levels. What I look for are supply and demand levels. So if you're new to this concept, go to Sam Seiden. He has a website, Sam Seiden, S-E-I-D-E-N. You can look him up online. He has a few videos on it, and that'll get you a good understanding. Now, eventually, you're going to have to mold this to your own style, which is what I've done. And again, so don't just take what you learn here or what you learn from Seiden and start trading it. What you really want to do is just observe this for a while and notice your own intricacies of this method. And once you grasp this concept and really get it down, you're going to have a enormous edge in the markets, bigger than anything I've ever seen. I've been trading for about 5 years now. I've used everything. I use indicators. I use Fibonacci. I use fucking trend lines. I use fucking Gann. I use moving averages. I use everything, and I hated it, and I wasn't making good money. And it wasn't until I came across this stuff that my trading was really taken to a new level. So again, it's not easy. It requires a lot of discretion. It requires a lot of confidence in your trading because, the majority of the time this is counter trend trading.
Oh, Jesus. The guy calls himself Kaiser Jose as well. Oh, God. That's pretty funny stuff, Potter. It's, Oh, Potter, yeah, you're right, Armin. He's taking the next leg lower. See how that plays out. I mean, I'm short the Kiwi, so I want the Kiwi to stop being insolent. Yeah, but let's not focus too much on that. We'll just finish up with a little bit of research. Try to get a broad view of what the banks think are happening in Deutsche Bank. Yeah, that's most important. Oh God, can't really zero hedge. All right. I do want to know if Jim responds to it. So we read a Deutsche Bank report every day, right? Now, at some point, they have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is what's causing risk off. So let's read this Deutsche Bank Daily and see whether they refer to themselves. Oh, no, this is Danske Bank. Fuck, okay. I'll find you at Deutsche Bank next. Dinner was really good there, thanks, mate. Recorder. Went to a Chinese restaurant, had a duck pancakes and duck shengxiao bao. Ooh, yummy. Yeah, I want to get the Deutsche Bank one out next, mate. I want to hear what they say. Everything's fine. Market fell randomly overnight. You know, I mean, if I ran the bank, I'd tell my analysts not to talk negatively about us. So a good point to note is, and I haven't looked at this today, is the VIX. The VIX is coming off nearly all-time lows. They'll bring up the VIX in a second. VIX is a fear index, right? It's the volatility of short puts on the S&P. And it is spiking. Oh dear. Oh dear. I think we've got ourselves a serious situation, boys. So obviously got a lot of room to move on the top side. Nice reversal. Nice reversal. Alright, we'll see. Like, things aren't bad in Deutsche Bank just yet, right? It's just potentially getting really bad really soon. And it's not a good sign. I doubt this Deutsche Bank dollar block weekly is going to mention it. It's not the particular type of things. Yeah, look, talking about ASX, talking about Australia. We're going to talk about Deutsche Bank. Fuck you, Deutsche Bank. Come on. So I guess it's only, JP today. We haven't got much in terms of. I mean, look, these sort of FX daily updates will definitely mention it a little bit. Oh wow, it's not even mentioning it. This is not a bad article. This is from Greg Gibbs. I've read this earlier today. He doesn't think it's going to be a big problem. I don't know. I think it's much more than just, DOJ $14 billion request to the bank to settle the case. I think it's more of a confidence thing. And once confidence is gone in the bank, I think it's very hard to get back without government or central bank underpinning it. And they usually only move after there's blood on the floor. And there's not blood on the floor yet. German government heading into an election cycle next year is very reluctant to provide support to any bank. Bankruptcy is extremely unlikely, as almost certainly Deutsche Bank, as a globally systemic important bank, will receive all the liquidity it needs. Yeah, okay. But it's not about that. It's about forcing the market forcing the bank to get the bailout, right? That's what the whole thing is about. That's why I'm short, right? That's why I'm short stocks. That's why I'm short risk sensitive pairs. Now, once the Deutsche Bank gets its bailout, obviously the Fugazi continues, right? We'll go back to buying stocks, buying Aussie, buying Kiwi. But it might take months, it might take weeks. What I'm trying to get at is here, this does not just end randomly because people stop worrying about it, right? This ends badly. Okay, I haven't seen a banking sell-off end with the bank just bouncing because people go, oh, we looked at the books and everything's fine. It just doesn't work like that. And the burn on Deutsche Bank, if you've been watching this stream, we've been watching Deutsche Bank for months. Yeah, we've been watching it and saying, ooh, there's a problem there. There's definitely a problem here. And now it's just come to the head, and now everyone's worried about it. Because it's getting serious levels, right? Where they can't afford to lend anymore because the equity of the company is too low. Look, it's we might have to wait for. We might have to wait till next week for banks to push something on Deutsche, right? I mean, I'm not saying there's a blackout against being negative on it, but probably they just want to be careful when looking into things. They don't want to be raising alarms when it's not at that stage yet. Deutsche Bank's now DAX is now 140 points higher than the low. So some recovery here. Whether the US session can finish positive today, that would be a big move if they could do that. That would really surprise me if I wake up tomorrow and US stocks are finished positive without an announcement that from Deutsche Bank or from German government or ECB to stabilize things. We already had the CEO come out talking to his staff saying everything's fine, don't worry. I mean, that's rarely the case, right? That's rarely the case. It's like people, it's a bit too early to 2007, 2008 for us not to remember. You know, Lehman Brothers owner, I think his name's Dick Fuld, came out and said everything's fine, like a week before it collapsed. So yeah, I mean, the gapping risk this weekend is real, both positive and negative. Stability comments will definitely lead to a risk-on rally on Monday. Nothing will lead to some potential negative stories just in the press. All right, guys. Look, there's no particular data to be watched today. We'll leave it there tonight. If you do want to let's have a look at Deutsche Bank stock just to finish. Because that 10 level is really important, right? If 10 breaks, it's supposed to be game over. No, not game over, but next level of risk off. Okay, we had a little look underneath at the open. This chart would look exactly like the DAX. See? So, I mean, the two are linked together here. Recorder. What did he say, man? I can't remember what he said.
Style of leadership meant he was admired and feared in equal measure.
Dick took the floor like a statesman, and he proceeded to deliver this fearsome attack on short sellers, the people who were depressing leading share price by being short the stock. And he, rather to everyone's surprise and mystification, he said,
If we get this right today, we'll squeeze some of those shorts. Squeeze them hard. Not that I want to hurt them. Don't get that, please, because that's just not who I am. I'm soft, I'm lovable. But what I really want to do is I want to reach in, rip out their heart, and eat it before they die.
Dick Fuld also had an insatiable appetite for profits, with or without farming.
Oh wow. Okay, maybe we'll hear that from the Deutsche Banks. All right. Actually, I'm going to add Deutsche Bank into our little screen watching here, just so we can watch it each day for the next couple of weeks. Right, that's going to be important. All right, guys. Look, we'll end it there. Keep an eye out tonight on the US Open. That's in 1 hour and 1 hour 10 minutes time. You might see some movement there if they want to play the risk-off game. Europe's had the nice little recovery, but I prefer to be selling rallies in the moment. Good luck. We'll be updating you on Monday at the normal time at 9 GMT. If you have any questions, send me a PM and I'll try my best to answer.